The soft hum of violin music filled the restaurant, the kind of place where the napkins were folded into perfect swans, and every glass sparkled under warm golden light. Maya sat at a corner table, nervously stirring her glass of water. She tugged at the edge of her dark dress, trying to make herself smaller, invisible even. She didn't belong here, not among the polished couples and the women whose laughter sounded like champagne bubbles. Her best friend had set her up on a blind date with a great guy, but Maya already knew how it would end. It always ended the same: polite smiles, forced conversation, and that flicker of pity in their eyes before they excused themselves for the last time. When the tall man in a crisp navy suit finally entered, heads turned. He looked powerful yet calm, the kind of man who didn't need to speak to command attention. Maya's heart sank. There's no way this is him. But then he looked around and smiled directly at her. "Excuse me," he said, approaching. "Are you Maya?" She blinked, fumbling with her napkin. "Yes, you must be Adrian." He nodded, his voice low and kind. "Sorry I'm late. My driver took the wrong turn." Maya nodded quickly, hiding her shaking hands. "It's fine, really." Adrian sat down and the waiter appeared instantly. They ordered. She chose the cheapest dish on the menu. He didn't even glance at the prices. For the first few minutes, conversation was polite but stilted. Adrian tried to ask about her hobbies, her work as a librarian, her favorite books. She responded with short answers, afraid to say the wrong thing. But then he made a joke about his cooking. "I once set water on fire trying to boil pasta, and she couldn't help it." She laughed, really laughed, and it filled the room. Adrian froze for a second, smiling. "That's the sound I've been waiting for," he said softly. Maya blushed, glancing away. "You don't have to be nice," she murmured. He frowned slightly. "I'm not being nice. I'm being honest." Her smile faltered. "No one says that, not to me. Let's be real. No one marries a fat girl, sir. They just talk nicely for an evening, then leave." The words hung in the air like shattered glass. Adrian didn't speak right away. He simply looked at her. Really looked at her. The intelligence in her eyes, the kindness, the quiet humor she carried. Then with a calm smile, he said, "Then let's prove them all wrong." Her eyes widened. "What?" He leaned forward, his gaze unwavering. "Let's start by finishing dinner. And maybe dessert too." Something in his tone, gentle but certain, melted the wall she'd built around herself. For the first time in years, Maya didn't feel like she had to apologize for existing. And as they talked through the night, she didn't notice the other diners staring anymore. She was too busy laughing, and for Adrian, it was the first time he had laughed like that in years, too. 6 months later, the same laughter filled a small garden cafe. This time, from both of them. Maya had never imagined herself here, sitting across from the CEO of a global company, holding his hand under the table while reporters whispered about the mystery woman who changed Adrian Cole. But to her, he wasn't a CEO, he was just Adrian, the man who waited for her after work with coffee, who read the same books just so they could argue about the endings, who made her feel beautiful without ever asking her to change. "You still think no one marries a fat girl?" he asked one evening, teasing gently. Maya smiled. "I think someone might prove me wrong." Adrian grinned, but this time his expression softened. He reached into his coat pocket and placed a small velvet box on the table. Her breath caught. "Adrian." He opened it onto a simple silver ring, elegant, glowing in the candlelight. "I don't care what anyone said," he whispered. "You're the most extraordinary woman I've ever met. You changed the way I see everything, even myself." So Maya. He got down on one knee, right there in the cafe where strangers turned to watch. "Let's prove them all wrong. Forever." Tears welled in her eyes as she nodded, unable to speak. "Yes, yes." He slipped the ring onto her trembling hand, stood, and kissed her softly, the world fading around them. And when the other customers began to clap, Maya realized something beautiful. It wasn't about proving anyone wrong anymore. It was about finally believing she was enough.